Hi everyone, it's Raquel, soulologist. I'm so happy to be here on the last day of this incredible year, 2021. And I just wanted to have a quick chat about the self, yourself in 2022. Yourself, who are you? What is the self? Okay, so there's a lot of different, we would have asked this question, who am I? What are the parts of me? What is self? So many different answers to this question, and today I'm just going to look at one of the models that I have used extensively as a psychologist when I'm working with clients and as a human. It helped me so much. So there is a model called Internal Family Systems. I mentioned it in my first video, Love Wins, by Richard Schwartz. And in 1995, he distinguished an internal family system. After working with clients, he started to realize that discussing external families, people were making reference to internal parts of themselves as if they were family members. Like, a part of me wants to do this, and a part of me is really angry, but a part of me is really sad. And so he came up with a model, and I'll talk more about this model at another time, where he denotes what he calls the why self, or the self. Big S, that was that. And then he also talks about exiles, so the parts of us that have been overwhelming, that we've had to repress or put into the unconscious. We'll talk about that. He talks about managers, which are, your daily, the daily yous that get business done, right? And then there's the firefighters. Now, firefighters, they come when there's a fire. So at one point, we will talk about that, but today I just wanted to talk about the self, right? And big S, self. So how do I know that people have a big S self, right? There are psychological qualities that Richard Schwartz denoted and also that I've experienced, okay? And the first one that everyone I've ever met, every client and every person, every client and I'm sure every person, curiosity. So actually these psychological qualities, just to have a little thing to remind you, there's a lot of C words. So the first one is curiosity. So every client I've ever worked with comes with curiosity. What's going on? I want to know. And that is a part of the natural growing self, the self that's becoming to be unveiled, is this natural curiosity for what's going on. And as I've said before in other videos, when I meet with a client, I ask them to be super curious. They already are, but I ask them for the second quality of the self, which is compassion. So much compassion. Okay, so the why self, or the big S self, not the ego self as Freud would say. There's the ego, which is the little s you might have heard, and then there's the superego, which is what he called the moral self, and then there's the id, which is the unconscious self. So there's lots of different ways we can talk about the self. But compassion is the second quality that I see when I'm working with clients. Then, and I don't know that these are linear, but sometimes I feel like they are, but I'm sure they're not, because time and space and dimensions. And have you ever experienced those moments of absolute calm? Another C word, right? Calm. No, not the numbness, not the frozen, but the actual moments of it's like peace. It might be just a moment or two every so often. So I'm asking you, have you been in touch with curiosity in yourself? Have you been in touch with compassion in yourself? And have you ever experienced moments of genuine calm? Because if you have a self, and it's unveiling. Another quality that I see is moments of absolute clarity. So the C word is clear, clarity, right? So it's just this, that's what I can do, or that's what I know. It's a knowingness, right? That knowing that it's just so clear. And again, when I start working with clients, depending on where you are, these qualities can only appear in moments, but I've never met someone who hasn't been able to say to me, yes, I have had moments of these things. So then the next thing that we find is creativity. I love this one. Creativity, to me, I always knew that we were always creative, but there's so much that can, in this world, block the emergence of that. It's always there. So I think when I thought of creativity, I thought of art and all of that, which is a thing. But when I started to really experience myself in a different way, I would have a creative solution to something. Like I might not even be thinking about the thing, and then all of a sudden I'd be like, oh, that's what I need to do. And it was literally brand new. And it could be really simple, like, oh, instead of stressing about someone's home and worrying and like waiting and driving into the driveway and are they home, like, oh, I could text and find out. I know that sounds, but just like things, patterns that you do, and then all of a sudden there's this creative new idea or impulse, right? It's another question. So if you've ever felt that, if there's creativity, then you're in touch with your self. Courage. Every client I have ever worked with, and oh my God, 2020 and 2021 have shown us so much courage. That's yourself, right? So much courage. The next thing is the wise self is committed. Now, how do you be committed? You know, you're emerging so much. You're getting through what are the exiles, what are the managers, what are the things, what are the patterns, what do I need to release? And you're starting to unveil and unveil and unveil this part of you that's always there and has never been wounded and has never been hurt. This part of you is absolutely protected and has never been hurt. And so then this commitment comes. I find this commitment comes because you know who you are. You're like compassionate, you're curious, you're calm, you have clarity, and not all the time, right? So what you are doing when you get more and more in touch with this, you wait for those moments. You let all of the sadness, the fear, all of that, you let all of that be, and you will know there's this commitment and this faith and this trust that this self will decide, this self will know if you give it time, right? The last thing the wise self knows is that we are connected. Even when we're alone, we are never alone. We are part of this absolutely beautiful, connected Indra's net web of others, of souls. We're connected. We're connected to ourselves, and we're connected to others, and we're connected, hopefully, to Source. So this is a really cool thing for me as a psychologist, having worked with the psychological wise self, these psychological qualities, having my own spirituality for so many years. I was always really, really excited and chuffed to know that these C-word qualities, to me, are all the qualities in the spiritual leaders that I've heard about. You know, Buddha, Krishna, they're very much the qualities that spiritual traditions talk about. Okay, so here we have this beautiful little crossover where back in 1995, psychologists have identified these psychological qualities. But if you've studied any spirituality, you know these are the qualities of spirit. So when I think about self, I think about the wise self and I think about these psychological qualities, but I know that this S that we're talking about, this self, is spirit. It's soul. Humans have at least 4 parts. We have our body, we have our beautiful mind, we have our heart and our emotions, and we have spirit. And so if it makes it easier, or if it helps to know that psychological self and spirit are one. So what do I want? I want lots. What do I want? I want to invite you in 2022 to spend more time, even more time, going in and accessing these qualities and waiting for these qualities and asking these qualities to emerge, right? Because these are the things that are going to get us through. These qualities promote self-leadership, right? So I'm inviting you to go in with an open heart and a soft mind and play with these different words. Because the more that you have these qualities emerging in your life, the more self-leadership. And what that means is these qualities embodied, you just can't get it wrong. You access self's wisdom. You access self-leadership. You access spirit's wisdom, source's wisdom. And if you do it first through psychological inquiry and psychological qualities, okay, because what 2020 needs, so 2022 needs, is self-leadership, not other leadership, not deferring to others, because this self, this spirit source, knows everything. And in 2020, so cute, so confused in 2022, love will win with self as the leader. I love you all so much. Have a beautiful, beautiful end of 2021, and let's go 2022. Bye.